Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this men's pendant using a crescent moon. And you can use any size crescent moon you like. And I'll show you how to work out the wire lengths that you'll need. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make this pendant, along with links to my Etsy shop, my Facebook page, my Instagram, and I've done an Instagram page for Gracie now, so that's on there too. To make this pendant you'll need an 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge, and I'll tell you how to work out your wire lengths in just a minute. You'll need 0.315mm weaving wire. I've wound mine onto a bobbin. If you don't have a bobbin, don't worry, you can cut lengths as you go, but these make it so much easier to work with. I've put a link in the description below of where I buy mine off eBay. You'll need a crescent moon. You can use any size crescent moon for this design. I wouldn't recommend you use those little tiny ones that you can buy because it'll just get too fiddly. Anything sort of this size or bigger, you can get a really big one if you want to. Sort of between these two sizes really. Oh, so to work out your wire length, you want put your wire behind your stone so you can't see it. And you want 5 inches here, and you want 5 inches here. This is just an estimate, but that's roughly how much you'll need. So you'll need 10 inches plus the width of your stone, sort of off centre, if that makes sense. But that's just like a rough estimate really of what you're going to need. I always like to have the wires a little bit longer so that when you get to the end, you've got enough wire if you want to make the design your own and do something a bit different, or for just handling, so you can handle it properly to finish off the design. Tools, we've got pliers, wire cutters, round nose pliers, and nylon pliers. Don't worry if you don't have nylon pliers because it's not important. I love these, so I always use these. I buy my crescent moons off Facebook. There's a group on there called Cabochon Cafe. I'll put a link on the screen. I'll put a link in the description below. So we're going to start 5 inches, which is just over 12.5 centimetres, from the beginning of your wire. And we'll start with 3 wraps around that bottom wire to attach it. And then 3 wraps around both wires. And we'll repeat that weave. 3 wraps around the bottom wire and 3 wraps around both wires. The amount of repeats you do of this weave depends on the size of your stone. So turn your stone over, so now we're looking at the back. You need to do repeats on this weave so that it's about that many. So if you look at it, your weave is about the size of the arc there really. And that's how many you want to do. You don't want to go too close to the edges with your weave. So I'm quite a distance from the edge on both sides. I'm going to cut that wire from the beginning. And now take the wire and bend it up at both ends. I think it's best that the wires don't go directly up but that they go out. So they go out at this kind of angle. But that will make sense more as we start to wrap it around the stone. So working on these 2 wires now, we're going to do a slightly different weave. So we're going to go over the top wire and around it. So I've come back up between the 2 wires. Over the top wire, under the bottom wire and around the bottom wire. And that's our repeat. So I'll do it again. We go over the top wire and around that wire. So I've come back up between the middle, over the top, under the bottom wire and around the bottom wire. So if you look at the weave, we're wrapping around both the wires and then we're going around each of the wires. We'll keep repeating that weave. So the amount of repeats you do of this weave, again, depends on the size of your stone. So position it back on the back of your stone. And try and hold it as steady as you can. We're going to wrap around the stone with that weave. All the way around like that. And you want to pull on it and get it nice and secure around there. When you get to this part, you want to cut your weaving wire, leave about 10 inches on there. Just cut my bobbin off. And we're going to attach this now to the weave. But I'm going to do the same on the other side and wrap that around first, so I can definitely make sure that it's all even before I start securing anything. So take your weaving wire, start again on this side and do the same weave that we just did on this side and do the same amount. You need your weave to be long enough to fit all the way around and stop on the back there. So I've added more repeats and wrapped this one around. I've added a few more repeats here because I think this has slipped back a bit now. But that's what you want your back part to look like. Oh, and I've cut this weaving wire, I've cut the bobbin, so I've got about 10 inches on that side, rough measurement. So when you've got this kind of shape going on, just stop now and have a look at it, because we've got to get this part right. If you look at the front, you want to make sure that it's all nice and central and they're both sitting where you want them to sit. Is one bigger than the other? So have a think, have a look and keep adjusting it until you're happy with that shape. And then when you are, then we can secure these parts. So take your weaving wire and we're just going to go around the whole thing a few times to sew it all in place. I'm going to go around again, so I'm going over the weave and underneath the bare wires and then pulling it quite tight there. Probably best to go around 3 times and get it nice and secure. And then wrap a few times around the nearest single wire. But when you do this, you don't want your weave to go over the edge, because these wires need to be bare now, and we're going to wrap them around the piece again. So don't wrap it just yet, but we've secured this side. Secure this side, and then we're going to have another look at it and make sure that we're definitely happy with the shape. So secure this side the same way as we did just for the other side. So I've secured both sides now. 3 wraps around all of the wires, so you've gone around 4 wires, and then single wraps around a single wire. I'm happy with how that looks. So now take your bare wires, I'm pulling it quite firmly, but trying not to let the wires cross over each other. Gently bend them around to follow your previous weave, all the way around to the back. Do the same for the other side. So we're going to pull them around. Don't let them cross over each other, but you want to pull them nice and tight. Till they sit across the back. So now stop, have a look, make sure it's how you want it to look. Make sure your wires didn't cross over, that they're sat right nice and tight next to that weave. So now, depending on which way up you want your pendant to be, I'm going to go with this way. So I'm going to work with this side, this is the top now. So take your weaving wire, and we're going to wrap a weave along these 2 wires, and I'm going to push it right low to the back. 3 wraps around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around both wires, and we'll do this 10 times. 3 wraps around the bottom wires and 3 wraps around both wires. The bottom wire, sorry, not the bottom wires. So we'll repeat that 10 times. So I've done 10 repeats, but I ran out of weaving wire. So when you start these wraps here, you need to start with a fresh piece of weaving wire. What I did was, I finished with 1 wrap on the bottom with the piece that was too short, and then I started with 2 wraps on the bottom with my new wire, so it hasn't interrupted the weave too much. I'm just going to make sure that stays together now and doesn't come off the wire or something. So we're going to shape this now. This is going to be the little bail where the jump ring's going to go through the top. And I forgot to mention, we're going to need a jump ring, 10mm outside measurement, I reckon. So this is our little loop where we attach the jump ring to the top. And you just need to fold it over like that. So I'm going to cut this weaving wire. And I'm going to take these wires and wrap them around the original weave that we did across the back there. So I'm just making a gap. between the stone and the wire, so I can pop these new wires through it. And I always like to cut them a bit shorter first. So then take the wires, and I'm going to start bending them at the top, at the end, and go straight around that weave. You don't want to lose this shape, so keep an eye on this part as you do this part. So I'm going to hold it. And then when you're happy with the shape, pull it nice and firm around that weave. Press it down into place and push the weave against the stone. Sorry if I was out of focus for that part then, but you just got to secure that around the weave and squeeze it all nice and tight in place. So during all the messing about with that side, I've broke my weaving wire. It's got trapped underneath the tripod down here and I've broke it off, so I'm gonna cut that off and add a new piece. This side we just need to finish off these wires now, so I'm going to bring them around and finish them off down here. So I'm going to take a small piece of weaving wire and I'm going to tie this weave to this weave. I think it's a better place to join it really, because we haven't got much room left up here anyway. So I'll take a short length of weaving wire, about 10 inches. I really don't measure anything, I really should. I should measure it before I tell you what I'm using. So I'm going to attach it to one of the wires with 3 wraps. Slide it down. And then I'm going to secure that the way we did before, wrap around all of the wires about 3 times. It seems really dark today, it keeps raining. And the birds are singing now. So I'll wrap around all 4 wires about 3 times. So I've wrapped around 3 times. Now I'm going to go 3 times around one of the single wires, just to secure that little tie in place. Tail end off as well. So I'm going to curl this one this way and this one this way, just little tiny curls just to finish off the wire. Can't put anything too big here because you'll see it from the other side, and if your stone is small then you need to really do as least as you can when it comes to finishing off wires like this on the back, because you'll see it on the front. So I'm doing little tiny curls just just as long as you tuck those ends away so that they don't snag on anything. Now we just need to sort out that jump ring. I just need to make a quick jump ring, so I'll show you how I do it. So I've got really thick 1.5mm wire, which is 14 gauge, and my bail pliers. And I know this really big size here is 10mm, so the largest size. And I'm going to grab it in the bail pliers and twist it around. And around. I'll make a few. So I'm working straight off the reel. I've got a great big reel of this thick wire. And now I'm using my old cutters because this wire absolutely kills cutters. And I'll try and level it up with the first cut, so we're roughly going to have the same in a line. I'm trying to just cut through the one there. And now I've got a load of jump rings now, so I need to cut through each of them. And then you end up with two odd ends. So the one that isn't flat, I'm going to cut that flat. And then I just quickly rub that with a file to get the sharp edges off. And you got yourself a roughly 10mm jump ring, or a handful of them. Do it to all of them. So there we have it, finished. You can use a smaller jump ring than that if you want to, but I thought with it being a men's pendant, it's nice to have everything a bit oversized. And there's my men's pendant finished. And I hope you found this tutorial easy to follow and I haven't confused you too much. Please don't share in progress images or any images of the back when you're sharing your work online, as I'd like to keep this design for this tutorial only. So if anybody wants to make this, send them over here and they can come and watch my videos. I do get paid for the adverts that are played on here, though not much. So it all adds up in the end. And thanks to everybody for subscribing, and please subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video. Bye.